Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Friday. We back around the water cooler with you guys. It's Friday, and it's Game 5. Talking about the Texas A&M Aggies. Let's go. Eugene Asante.
Boys and girls of all ages, you're tuned into the Water Cooler Talk podcast, the biggest podcast in the world. Yeah.
You are now tuned in to Water Cooler Talks, covering everything you love about college football, especially everything going down in the SEC Conference. So, if you love college football, you need to lock in. And now, your hosts, Nick Frazier and Marcus Fitzpatrick.
Yes, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, man, we appreciate y'all so much for rocking with us here on this Friday, April 9th, around the water cooler, man. Tonight, it's going to be a good one, man. My name is Nick Frazier. And the other man, you can't see him, but you can hear him. Tell him who you are, boss man.
Marcus Fitzpatrick. Let's go. Let's get it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We appreciate y'all, man, for rocking with us here around the water cooler. As always, man, it's Friday, not August. Jesus, I wish it was August.
Yeah. Speed up time, Nick.
May 9th. We appreciate y'all, man. We've been doing this series that we started this week where we're going to break down every single game on Auburn's schedule. We started this week off Monday with Baylor, went to Ball State. Then we came back home with the Ball State, came back home again, had South Alabama, went on the road for our first SEC game yesterday against Oklahoma. And today, we're going to go back on the road for our second SEC game, which is the Texas A&M Aggies. Before we get into it, ladies and gentlemen, as always, man, make sure you follow us on Facebook at the Water Cooler Talk Podcast, man. Follow us on Instagram and TikTok at the Water Cooler Talk. On Twitter, follow us on Twitter. Download Twitter. Follow us there at CoolersPod23. And, of course, subscribe, like, share, and hit the notification bell button here on YouTube so you know when we post videos and when we go live. Ladies and gentlemen, we appreciate y'all so much for continuing to rock with us here around the water cooler, as always, man. Let's take a look in the chat, man. See what we got in the chat. Auburn Dad in the chat saying, War Eagle, let's go.
Auburn Dad, what's up, Auburn Dad?
We feeling the legend of Sweet Sugar Bow Williams, the Huggy Beard is in the chat. What up, Huggy?
What's up, Huggy?
Tyrone is in the chat. What up, Tyrone?
Tyrone, what and that, man? What the brothers at, man?
Right behind him. He's saying,
okay.
Good?
They are in the building. They are with us tonight.
What's up, man? War Eagle to y'all, man. Everybody speaking to everybody. Huggy Beer saying, what's up, the Ant? What's up, the Ant and Tyrone? Auburn Dad, what's up? He said, what's happening, Marcus? That's what Huggy said.
Huggy?
That's what's up, man. He said, what's up, Huggy? That's what Alan said. Anthony said. The Huggy Beer said, what's good, Nick? I mean, you know, just keeping my head above the water cooler, as always. You know the slogan. Keeping my head above the water cooler. Hallbone, he said, what's up, man? What's up, Hallbone? How you feeling, my man? How you feeling, my guy? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. The Huggy Beard is back saying, what's up to Hugh? And Hugh is saying, what's up to Huggy, man. We appreciate y'all so much for continuing to give us a little bit of your time here around the water cooler every night, Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central, man. And we thank y'all for that because guess what? Y'all could be anywhere. Y'all could be anywhere else, but y'all are here with us. And ladies and gentlemen, joining us tonight around the water cooler, the man from Auburn Addicts TV, DC Wolf. What's up, DC? How you feeling?
What's
up? What's going on, y'all?
Chilling. DC,
how y'all doing? How y'all doing, man?
We doing all right, man. We doing all right, man. You doing all right tonight?
Chilling.
So DC, we doing this. We started this this thing on Monday where we're going through every team individually, day by day, on Auburn's schedule. And then after we finish that, we're gonna look at every team in the SEC that Auburn is not playing, just so we can be more well-rounded about potentially what Auburn is up against in the SEC and what our schedule can look like. So we started on Monday. We traveled to Baylor, season opener. Talked about Baylor. We broke Baylor down. Talked about their offense, their defense, what they have coming back. Talked about their recruiting class, their philosophies on offense and defense. Looked at that, said, okay, this could be an interesting matchup, coming out the gate. Then we came back home to Ball State. Talked about Ball State. Should be a dub. Ball State's not going to be a good team. Not going to be a good team. They're going through a coaching change. They got a first-year coach coming in, but he got his guys with him. He got his DC with him that's been with him at other places. So they may be in alignment. You never know. That's the same thing Coach Freeze was telling us. They in alignment. So
they in alignment. They in alignment.
But the roster is not good. So I'm not expecting Boston.
Okay.
Then we looked at South Alabama. South. Everybody know I graduated from there.
We're gonna drag y'all, Nick. We're gonna drag y'all.
You're not going to
drag y'all, Nick.
It would be interesting. It would be interesting. It will be interesting for the first 2.5 quarters. It'll be interesting for the first 2.5.
It ain't gonna be interesting at all. We're
gonna
put these boots to y'all. We're gonna put these boots to y'all and send y'all back down 85.
That's what I'm saying.
We ain't even on 85. We're on 65. That's how I know.
No, I'm saying you gotta hit 85 first, though, dog. You gotta hit 85 first. When you come off the Auburn exit, you gotta take that right and veer off and go 85 past Buc-ee's, bruh. Then you hit 65.
You got a point. I thought you talking about coming from Mobile. Coming from Mobile, you get 65 north. But I get what you're saying.
Yeah, and we gonna put them boots to y'all. Y'all can stop by Buc-ee's, get a brisket sandwich on the way back.
Telling y'all, don't be surprised. Don't be surprised by that game. Don't be surprised if that's a close game. First 2.5 quarters.
If that game is close, I'm worried, Nick. So
okay, all right. I'm trying to tell y'all. Y'all don't want. Okay, it is. Then we traveled to our first SEC road game, which was Oklahoma. We talked about Oklahoma last night. Oklahoma is a test. I think Auburn loses that game. First, I think Auburn loses that road game on the road against Oklahoma. Oklahoma looks like a very competitive team. Brent Venables is going to be calling plays again.
Yes.
Ben Arbuckle is the new OC, and he brought his quarterback with him, and John Mateer. Looking at what they have on the outside, offensive line is going to be strong. Defense is going to look good, especially with Brent Venables calling plays. So it's going to be interesting. Now, tonight, to end this week, on game 5, and we're going to travel to College Station, Texas, Kyle Field, and we're going to break down these Texas A&M Aggies tonight. And we're going to take a look at offense, defense, overall teams, what their statistics were in 2024, philosophies, and everything like that. And I will tell you this.
Okay.
I'll tell you this.
Talk to me.
I think Auburn wins. I go ahead and put it out there. I think Auburn gets another W at Kyle Field. I'm telling you.
Man.
See, okay, all right. I'm trying to tell y'all. Listen, I have done my homework and research. This game, Auburn should win on the road.
Okay, let me ask you this. Is it going to look like the first half of the Texas A&M game we played this year at home, or is it going to look like the second half? If it look like the second half, we're going to lose the game, man. Which half are we going to see? This first half? That first half was fire. You know what I'm saying? The first half was fire. The second half, I was biting my fingernails, winning overtime.
You're right. We're going to get into it.
Okay. Talk to me.
Let's go ahead. Let's get into it, man. Let's start out with the Texas A&M Aggies, led by Coach Mike Elko. Going into his second season as the head coach for Texas A&M. Last season was pretty good for him. Last season was pretty good, man. He had Texas A&M at one point in time in conversations, particularly to potentially be in the SEC championship game, but they faltered down the end of the season, mainly due to the defense. Mainly due to I won't say the defense. I won't say the front half of the defense. Mainly it was their passing defense. Passing defense gave up an average of like 406 yards a game in the last 5 games. So looking at Mike Elko coming in, he has been tasked with turning around Texas A&M and making Texas A&M back to what they were. You know, they put a lot of money into this program, so they want to be able to win and see a return on their investment. They want to be able to see a return on their investment. Like I said, they went 8-5. His first season out, 5-3 in the SEC. But Mike Elko is known as a defensive-minded coach. I would probably say Mike Elko is probably one of the top 7 defensive minds in college football. Would probably say I will be comfortable with saying that. That is where that is where Mike Elko is. So we're gonna take a look and see what that potentially looks like, man. DC, what's your thoughts on Elko? What's your thoughts on Elko and him getting his regime in at Texas A&M and what he potentially could do for this team moving forward?
Man, I think Mike Elko as a defense coordinator is elite, man. Honestly, I agree with you. Top 7 at the least. I like what he did at Duke, turning around Duke, man. He brought a toughness to Duke, man. He brought some winning to Duke. I think in the second year, the defense should be where he wanted. He should have his stuff back in because we know he was there previously. So him being back and some of the players that were there, he recruited. So I think, man, Texas A&M is going to be a force to be reckoned with, man. Like you said, bro, they were one game away from the SEC championship last year.
Sure was.
And Auburn kind of derailed their season. Well, they did derail their season. But I think Elko, man, is elite. And I think, man, they're going to be a force to be reckoned with, honestly.
Okay. Mark,
so that's
I kind of agree with Elko turning around. I kind of agree with how you rank him defensively as a defensive-minded coach. But what I would say is I think he's going to struggle because I can't really see a path for him at quarterback right now. I think offensively they're going to struggle because I can't really see that path at quarterback right now for them.
What's your boy name, man? That dude, I think
Marcel Reed. I thought Marcel Reed was
be
dynamic.
fire.
Yeah, I thought he was dynamic. I thought Marcel Reed was dynamic last year. I'm just that's the first time I've heard that one. That's the first time I heard that one. I'm just gonna be real.
I think they will if they believe in Marcel Reed, I don't think they go and get that transfer quarterback out of the portal, that senior that they went and got.
You talking about Jacob Zeno to be the backup?
Yeah, I think
UAB.
Yeah, from UAB.
Yeah, they got him to come be the backup.
I think it's more into that. I don't believe in Reed.
Really?
Oh, all right, that's interesting.
Yeah,
that's interesting. This is news.
Right
this is news. This is news right here. Okay. Why don't you? Okay. What is your hesitation on Marcel Reed?
I think he had a good, decent first year. I think the SEC has figured him out, or will figure him out the second. I think he's headed for a sophomore slump. Okay. And I think the defense will keep them up, but I think they're headed for another 8-5 type record. I don't think they take a leap. I think they just stay where they are.
Yeah. Okay. I sort of kind of agree with you, but not for the reasons why you think they will. I don't think it's gonna be offense at all. I actually think it's gonna be because of the defense.
Right. I think Elko gonna. That's why I think Elko gonna get the defense to play right. That's what I think. I just feel like Elko gonna find the pieces, because like you said, he's an elite-minded defensive coach, and we all know with elite defensive-minded coaches, they find pieces to keep it going. I just think that they're going to struggle from the quarterback position. Like he had a great first year. Let's for a first year, let's get that out there. But I think going forward, he doesn't take the next step. I think they just stay at an 8-5 team.
What? Wow. I mean, like I said, I agree with you on the record wise. I think they probably an 8-9 win team, but definitely I think they're an 8-9 win team because of the defensive side of the ball. I'm just that and I'll explain it later once we get to that and we get on the defensive side of why I feel that way. It doesn't have anything to do with talent. It has everything to do with other things. And I'm gonna try to correlate it to Auburn's offense the past 2 seasons. Is I'm gonna try to correlate it so people can understand. All right, let's go ahead. Let's move on, man. Texas A&M's offense. So Texas A&M has an interesting structure when it comes to assistant coaches. Trooper Taylor. Everybody knows Trooper Taylor. Coach Troop was at Auburn. Great recruiter. He is the associate head coach on the offensive side of the ball. So they have a head coach, an associate head coach. Then they have an offensive coordinator and a co-offensive coordinator. Colin Klein is the offensive coordinator, and Holman Wiggins is the co-offensive coordinator. Colin Klein, if you all don't know, he played college ball at Kansas State. He was a quarterback there from 2008 to 2012. Excuse me, Holman Wiggins. If that name sounds familiar to you, Holman Wiggins was the associate head coach at Alabama for a period of time there and was the wide receivers coach. So looking at that is how their structure is. And even on the defensive side of the ball, it's the same way. They have an associate head coach for defense, a defensive coordinator, and a co-DC as well. And we'll get to that in a minute, man. Colin Klein will be the primary play caller for 2025. He had the same responsibility as last year. One thing about Texas A&M, I will say, is that they didn't lose anybody on the coaching staff for real. They actually gained a person as well. And I get into that once we get to the defense side of the ball. But what are some of the things that we're going to see from this Texas A&M offense? Ball control. They're going to try to control the clock. QB runs. Marcel Reed, that's what his strength is. He can throw the ball. He's going to get, I think he's going to get better at throwing the ball this year. He did that pretty good last year as well. But he'll get better because Klein was a QB coach at some of the stops that he was at. Mainly it was Kansas State as well. Well, most of his coaching was at. They'll call some called QB runs for Marcel Reed. They're going to use the RPO a little bit. They're going to use it a little bit. They're going to do it, and they're going to do it out of multiple personnels as well. They'll use play action, and then another thing that they like to do is they like to recruit big wide receivers and tight ends, and they like to use their tight ends a lot. And sometimes they like to spread their tight ends out as wide receivers as well. So looking at that and seeing what they potentially can do, you kind of saw what they did last year with Auburn in the second half of the game against Auburn in the second half, where they started to come back. Where you saw Marcel Reed's legs become an issue for Auburn's defense. And one thing that has haunted Auburn always has been the mobile quarterback. So having him there, having him a second year, and now being the full-time starter, because we know Connor Wegman was the starter at the beginning of last year for Texas A&M, and he actually took the job from Connor Wegman. Now that Marcel Reed is now going to be the full-time starter, what are your thoughts on this Texas A&M offense, Marcus?
Like I said previously, I think now that you can game plan around him is I feel like a setback. Well, I ain't gonna exactly say a setback because I feel like that's too much scrutiny. I just don't feel like it's a step, or I feel like it's just gonna be the same as last year. Honestly.
Okay. All right. DC, what's your thoughts?
I think in another year in the system, he's gonna be much better. I think he's gonna be more poised. He's gonna be at home.
Okay.
And then to boot, like you said, we had a problem last year with mobile quarterbacks, man. And we had a problem with mobile quarterbacks that weren't even like dynamic mobile quarterbacks. Like we just had anybody that could move in the pocket. We had problems with, like the Cal quarterback. I'm like, man, what is this dude doing running around? But if we can shore that up, man, I gotta see Auburn defense. But another year of DeMarcus Riddick, and he was putting the caps on mobile quarterbacks too. But he did have to slip up against my man in the Iron Bowl. But you know what I'm saying? I think Reed, another year in the system, I think this offense gonna move the ball, man. That's just me.
Okay.
I really do.
I mean, I'm kind of with you on that, DC. I don't think the offense is gonna be that bad. I'm just gonna be real. I don't think the offense is gonna be to the point to where I don't think the offense is gonna be that bad. I think their defense is gonna be good, but I think they still gonna have problems on the back end. I think they went and got some guys that could potentially help, but we're gonna get into that in a second. I'm looking for something right now because I wanted to pull it up because I saw a comment in the comments that that I want to address once we get to that comment. And I'm explaining to you why I feel that way. But looking at the offensive side of the ball, yeah, I think Texas A&M offense could potentially be, a decent offense. I don't see anything spectacular from them. I think I'm with Marcus. I think they'll probably be an 8, maybe 9-win team. Which if they're a 9-win team, that puts them in the playoff conversation as well, and things of that nature. But I think they lose some games that you would expect them to win because of the fact that they're probably gonna blow an assignment on the defensive side of the ball. And let's go ahead and let's get into it, man. So let's get to the defense side. Here's the reason why I feel that way, man. So you're looking at the defensive side of the ball. Lyle Hempfield, he's the associate head coach on the defensive side of the ball. Jay Bateman, he's the defensive coordinator, and Jordan Peterson is the co-defensive coordinator. It's an interesting structure that they have there at Texas A&M. Jay Bateman has been the DC at Army, and he's been the co-DC at North Carolina. Where he's been. Lyle Hempfield was on Mike Elko's staff at Duke as a co-defensive coordinator. Last season, he was the DC at James Madison. And he produced one of the best offenses in the nation at James Madison last year as DC. And one of the things that just a backfield on Texas A&M defense. Texas A&M lost 4 of their last 5 games. And what kind of fueled this was in their bowl game against USC, they actually blew a lead. They blew like a really big lead. And it was because they really couldn't stop the pass. And they was really almost getting run on some as well. So postseason came right before spring, and it was axed. And Jay Bateman, according to Harrison Reno, SI at Texas A&M Aggies, this is a quote. This is quoted by Jay Bateman. He said, "We definitely have made some pretty serious schematic adjustments. Some things that maybe some things that maybe were a little outdated, and some things we think are going to help us." He said, "This conference is like the NFL. It changes all the time." Say, "I feel really good about where we are right now." That was a response to a question of how is Mike Elko going to be involved in the defensive game planning more this year, because he was a little bit hands off. He was hands off last year. He was just trying to be a overall CEO. Mike Elko said, this is part of a quote, but this is quoted from Mike Elko. He said, "It's an identification of issue that needs to be solved, and believing I have the ability to help solve it." So basically, we don't know what this potential defense will look like for Texas A&M, because per Jay Bateman, there are legitimate, serious schematic changes that they have changed. So we don't know what it looks like. We can only speculate what it potentially could look like. I know Mike Elko likes to run a lot of cover one, which puts a lot of guys in man coverage. I know he runs some sort of a 4-2-5 defense, nickel defense, which is what a lot of people run as well. He likes to run he'll run that sometimes, but majority of the time he's gonna run a 50 frame. So he's gonna run 0 technique, nose tackle with 2 defensive ends and the 5 technique. Is he's gonna run that. And he'll run that either out of the 3-3-5 or the 3-2-6. So which means he can have it in a nickel or dime defense. Is what Mike Elko do. And one thing that he loves to do is he loves to put those guys. He'll play cover one all day. He will play cover one all day and put them in man coverage. So looking at some of the guys that he picked up in the portal, a Julian Humphrey, that was a cornerback from Georgia. You still have Will Lee III that's going to come back as well. Just gaining on those guys' abilities in a next year, and potentially having Elko more involved in the defense. Now, he's not going to be calling the defense. This is still going to be Jay Bateman calling the defense. But from everything that I have read, everything that I have watched, everything that I've heard and seen, he's going to be heavily influenced in it. So this is the reason why I feel like this is where the disconnect is going to come, because the same thing that was told to us last year by our coaching staff on the offensive side of the ball was that these guys know me. These guys understand where I'm at. And you even see what he did with bringing Lyle Hempfield back in, who was the co-DC defensive backs coach on his staff at Duke. Now he's trying to implement that into his defense. Yes, there are guys who know what you may want to do, but they're not you. So there is going to be a disconnect somewhere. So DC, what are your thoughts on that?
Man, I was thinking the same thing when you said about him bringing his boy from Duke. If I'm the defensive coordinator, I'm like, oh, here we go, man.
Exactly.
Okay, now you in the office. Now you bringing your boy from Duke in. Like, what we doing? Is this my defense or is it your defense? It's like, I'm like with the situation in Auburn. It looks the same. If you're going to have a defensive coach who's going to like kind of be just in the room and then bring his boy, you know what I'm saying? Dude, just call the defense.
Exactly.
Like, I'm with Hugh Freeze, man, just call the whole offense. Don't like kind of divvy up and have a yes man or whatever. Like you say, he can't think like you. He can't run your defense and know exactly what you want from your perspective, man. It's difficult, especially when you have your own philosophy. You know what I'm saying? And then that dude, if it is his first year, you got to give him grace too to come in and get his system implemented with the personnel. You know what I'm saying? But if you're Elko, if I'm the defense coordinator, I'm like, man, just you call the defense, dude. This, you know what I'm saying? You call it. Because you might, like you said, it might be a debacle, dude. Because you trying to mesh what I do, then you trying to take over and call half of the season, you going to jump in and call the defense and take over. So, I mean, man, call the defense. You know,
and who knows? And who knows? That potentially is what probably happened at the end of the season last year. Elko could have saw what was going on, saw where it was going, and was like, well, if I see something that I don't like, I'm going to just jump in and be like, hey, let's do this. And then now there's a disconnect based on what you actually was trying to do. And now people are confused. Like if it's coming from one person's mouth, if it's the hit, if he's the defense coordinator, let him call the plays. You know, it's the same thing with Coach Hugh Freeze. If Coach Hugh Freeze is gonna call plays, call plays. Don't have one person calling on first, one person calling on second, one person calling on third. Call the plays, get into the flow of the game so you understand it. And you can kind of play chess with the offense coordinator of the team. Marcus, your thoughts?
I agree with DC, but I'm like, my philosophy is like, I'm real big on coaches who are known for what they're known for coming up through the races, coordinators like offensive, defensive coordinators, to call plays that you're known for. Like, if you're a head coach and you're known for offense, call offensive plays. You're a head coach and you're known for defense, call defensive plays. I'm big on that, especially when the person who is your coordinator is not like a proven coordinator, I would say. If the coordinator isn't proven, I'm big on you living up to the hype of why you became a head coach. So it's just like with Elko, I feel like if you're a defensive minded coach, you should call your defense this year, especially this is your second year. You need to build up a culture at Texas A&M.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, he building up the coach as the head guy, not at the defensive coordinator anymore. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like what Venables is doing at Oklahoma. You know, Todd Bates is the co-DC, but Venables is going to be calling the defense. He's going to be coming from Venables. He's going to be the one making the calls, making the plays. I mean, making the checks, calling the checks and everything, and it's going to be coming from him. So he knows exactly how he wants to run his defense, how he wants it to look against a certain front, what a defense looks like. And guess what? That is coming from him. So if it fails, it's on him, and you can't blame it on Todd Bates because he was the one calling the defense that's not his. That was yours. He's just calling. So I agree. So in this situation, this is where I feel as if this is where the disconnect gonna come. Even though they have the talent on their side of the ball, they are big, they physical, they fast, and I think the biggest pickup for them was getting Julian Humphrey at that cornerback position from Georgia. Because when he first entered the portal, I was hoping that Auburn would take a look at him and potentially get him. I was hoping that it happened because he entered the portal in the winter, and that would have gave him opportunity to transfer within conference. That's the reason why he's at Texas A&M now. But he ended up at Texas A&M. And getting him a guy that you could have put on the other side of Jay Crawford, and you could have moved Can Lee around the secondary. A big cornerback, I think he's like 6'1", 2 almost 215, somewhere between 210 and 215, something like that. Auburn like a linebacker though. Nah, he's not. My bad. I'm thinking of another person. He's like 6'1", 190, 195. Oh, my bad, something like that. And you get him in there. I mean, I'm telling you, it's a different mindset. But you can have all the talent in the world, but the problem is when that communication starts to hit and it starts looking different, and it looks as if it's not cohesive, that's when problems happen. So it's going to be interesting to see what Texas A&M does there with that. Let's move along and let's get into it, man. Texas A&M, man, 2025 high school rankings, the 10th in the nation. Some people have them as high as 7. Transfer portal ranking at number 11 in the transfer portal. Looking at their stats from 2024, they were the 49th ranked offense. You see the numbers on the screen. They put up about 210 yards passing, 195 rushing, total 405, and they put up about 30 points a game. On the defense side of the ball, they were 35th in the nation. So they had a top 50 defense and offense by the numbers. Passing, rushing, points, totals, you see it right there on the screen is what they did. Here's some of the key players that they're going to have on their team this year. Marcel Reed, quarterback. I'm telling you, I feel like he's going to be one of the better ones in the conference. at the end of the year. Le'Veon Moss, I don't even think he played in the game last year against Auburn last year. So he'll be interesting. You'll be interested to see exactly what he does in this running game for them, because they will run the ball. It's going to be a balanced offense, a little RPO action there. Their entire offensive line is coming back, which is a plus for them. So you have a nice offensive line that's cohesion. And that is going to be something that every team wants. And that's something that Auburn almost has. We're replacing the interior of offensive line is good, but we breaking in a right tackle, and then who I think is probably the best left tackle in the portal is coming out. So all signs pointing towards Auburn having one of the top offensive lines in the SEC, potentially the country. Amari Not Black, Alabama fans. Amari Not Black, transferred from Alabama to Texas, and then transferred from Texas to Texas A&M this season. So he'll be at Texas A&M this season, his first year there. Casey Concepcion, thought he flirted with Auburn a little bit in the portal. He's going to be one of their big wide receivers. He's going to replace Noah Thomas, that transferred to Georgia. He was that big play wide receiver for Texas A&M last year. Noah Thomas, he transferred to Georgia during the portal. DJ Hicks at the D-line position. They lost Shamar Stewart and Nick Scootum on the defensive line, so they're gonna have to replace some guys there. They got a lot of guys in their past two classes that were some 4 stars and some highly touted defensive linemen. So it's time for those guys to shine. The linebacker core is what is going to be dynamic for them. York and Williams coming back at linebacker, but the depth behind them is something that's worrisome. Maybe they got some guys that just haven't had enough, that has not had enough playing time just yet. But maybe, when they get the rotation in, those guys are play. Julian Humphrey, I already spoke about him, and everybody knows what he's going to be able to do at the cornerback position, and Will Lee the third as well, who's going to be at the other cornerback position for Texas A&M. Texas A&M has the potential to do what they did last year, but it just depends on, I believe, the communication part potentially of how they look and what potentially could happen. DC, your thoughts?
Man, I think a lot of it depends too on Auburn. Man, Auburn offensive line, man. I think a lot. I think this season hinges on that offensive line, man. Gelling. They got pretty much everybody back, and they got improvements on the left side and maybe improvements on the right side. So I'm looking at this Texas A&M game, and I'm thinking Texas A&M gonna win, but I got like Auburn last year still in my head. You know what I'm saying? I need to, and we reserve the right to change this, man, after like we see Auburn play. You know what I mean? But if Auburn can get the offensive line, man, to just marginally improve, man, I think the offense is going to be dynamic. So, Mark, this is my take, man.
I like what you were saying, DC. I agree with that. The offensive line is a big part of the team. If our offense in general comes to play, I think we'll be in good shape in this game. But I have to agree with you, DC. I think we might end up losing this game because of the hostile environment. But I'll say this. I think we might end up losing this game because of youth in hostile environment. But like you said, we deserve the right to change once we see what our team looks like. But it's just how I feel right now. But this is one of the games that I'm scared of. But going forward, I think win or lose this game, this will be a pivotal game for Auburn going down the line in the season, because I think it's a halfway point. Like Nick said, sometimes you are who you are by this point. But I think it's going to be a lot of lessons learned in this game right here.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I disagree with both of y'all. I think Auburn wins this game. I'm on it, man. And you got to understand, I think Auburn loses to Oklahoma the week before on the road. So in a hostile environment in Norman, Oklahoma, going back there, being on the road, that's going to be the culture shock for Auburn. I'm not saying Auburn going to get blown out in that game. I think I think Oklahoma, with what Oklahoma has and how they feel about their team, and I stated this last night, I think looking at Oklahoma's roster, looking at Auburn's roster, looking at the team overall, it's almost kind of the same. How Oklahoma fans feel about Oklahoma, Auburn fans feel about Auburn.
Mm-hmm.
The biggest wild card in this game is Brent Venables calling the defense. That's the biggest wild card. And Brent Venables is in that vein of, and I stated this last night on the show, of Nick Saban, taking away what you do best and then taking away your second option at that. Brent Venables is in that same vein. So now that he's the guy that's going to be in the defensive meetings, he's the guy. It's not what we saw. It's not what we hearing from Elko. It's not that Elko's just going to be, I'm going to just be in here and, see what's going on. Brent Venables is going to be game planning for offenses now. And that's going to be the X factor in that game. When it comes down to it, I think that could potentially be a close game going into the fourth quarter. And I think him calling the defense is going to be the reason why Oklahoma wins that game, because he's going to do something that maybe this offensive staff has not seen or they have not adjusted to because we haven't seen them do it yet. And it's going to catch them off guard. And that's going to be the reason why Oklahoma wins the game. Now,
so you telling me what he did last year when he baited the throw, man? You telling me that wasn't Brent Venables? I'm like, I'm scared if that wasn't Brent Venables, man.
So,
like, they did it last year, man. He wasn't RPO. And this is what I want to ask Hugh Freeze, and I hope I know he's probably watching this, man. What are you going to do about RPO manipulation? Because that's what happened last year in the Oklahoma game. Is it RPO manipulation when they showed the linebacker crashing in and then dude just dropped back out? You know what I mean?
But that's
so if Brent Venables is gonna do more than that, man, yeah, you're right.
But the thing about it is that's a staple in Brent Venables' offense. Brent Venables, he'll run that three safety look. He'll run that three safety look, and he'll have that third safety could potentially be what they call a cheetah. It could be an edge, it could be a linebacker, or it could actually be a safety. And they got a guy on that team, Kendall Davis, who's like 6'5", 240, that can play at all three levels and is athletic enough to do that. I mean, he's known for it. It's one thing that he changed from. He changed from doing man blitzes and going in his own blitzes, basically rushing 5 and then dropping the defensive end in the coverage, in those small area windows, or something that Brent Venables is known for doing. And that's basically what he did in that game. He just did it with a linebacker. That's all he did in that game. He just did it with a linebacker. But looking at this, Jay Bateman is still going to be calling plays for Texas A&M.
Okay.
That's the difference. Okay. And then, of course, Kyle Field, 100,000 fans. Yeah, I understand that. But when you play that Norman's loud. I don't know if y'all watched. I haven't been there, but I can tell from TV and be like, yeah, that's loud. Texas A&M is loud too. But if you can get through Norman and you can make that a close game, I think Texas A&M at Kyle Field is something that they'll be able to contain if they can do that in Norman. I just feel that way.
Do you have who Texas
Auburn win that game?
Do you know who Texas A&M was playing the week prior? Because
Texas A&M is saying
that's back-to-back road games.
Back-to-back road games for Auburn. Yeah,
right. That's what I'm saying. So who is Texas A&M playing the week prior?
Let me get this for you real quick because I didn't write their schedule down.
Because that's what I'm saying, in the SEC, man, that's a big thing. Playing SEC games back-to-back, and you're going on the road. If you're going on the road playing Oklahoma.
They play Notre Dame.
Going to Texas and back. Yeah, that's gonna be a tough game for them too. So both teams gonna probably be like, they gotta go to Notre Dame. They're gonna put in that work the week prior. So we good. Yeah,
not to mention Oklahoma plays Michigan. I think Oklahoma plays Michigan 2 weeks before they play Auburn. And then they have what some consider a cupcake game before they play Auburn. So and things like that. Hardbone in the chat said he's coming along. Shout out to Hardbone, man. We always rocking with you, my guy. Huggy is in good spirits tonight. Shout out to the Huggy beer.
What's up, Huggy?
Auburn that said my chat disappeared. Did it come back? Auburn? I'm pretty sure it did. I'm pretty sure I saw you comment again. He said, "Yo, what's up, DC?" That's what.
What's up?
Wait a minute, where did it go?
What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up?
Anthony Allen, I got.
What's up? What's up, Anthony Allen?
Everybody saying what's up to DC.
What up, Hugh? I had put out the bat signal for you. Hugh, I hadn't seen you in a minute, man.
Yeah,
good to see you, man. Good to see you.
Look, I'm trying to tell y'all. Hardball agreed. He said, I think we can all agree. USA will fight a tough game. Nick does have that right. I'm telling y'all,
bro. We're gonna put some boots to USA. Nick, you gonna put boots to USA, man.
I'm just telling you, they beat Oklahoma State on the road, 33-7. I'm just saying. I'm with my man. If they give us a problem, man, I'm gonna be concerned for the rest
I'm concerned, bro. If they are in the game with us, I'm very concerned.
Okay.
It ain't like Nick, and that's no shot at South Alabama.
It is a shot. It's a shot at South Alabama. That's because that's how I know you don't watch South football. That's how I know you don't watch the Jaguars play.
That's how I know I watch it, bro. Y'all lost a lot.
Right,
so you say y'all haven't lost a lot?
No, we was 7-6 last year. We was a
y'all didn't lose y'all quarterback?
Lost a lot of players. Nick,
y'all didn't lose y'all quarterback. Y'all didn't lose y'all quarterback.
Bishop Davenport right behind him.
Okay. All right.
We're
gonna put boots to y'all, Nick. We're gonna put boots to y'all, Nick.
You know what I'm saying? South Alabama is this week is gonna be a hard week for Nick. Because Nick got to root for both teams. So don't ask me no questions that week about South Alabama and Auburn. Graduated from South. I've been an Auburn fan majority of all my life. So it's a tough week.
About to get drugged, folk.
All right, man. I guess Auburn. That's it, man. I type it out. I typed it out earlier and got deleted. We need those collies, dogs, and that coat that they call it. Man, what is that? What is that thing that they be doing at like 12 midnight? What is it called? The Yale? What is
yeah. I think it's the Yale. Yeah.
All right, I guess. No push-ups? What you mean, Hugh? What you mean? No push-ups. Let's see. Huggy Beard had to step out, but I think he came back in. Maybe the bonfire won't light. Let's see, man. JT said, man, sorry I'm late. Had no quote of the day. Had a daddy-daughter date. That's what I'm talking about, JT.
Yes, sir.
That's what I'm talking about.
Even better, JT.
He said,
what's up, man?
That's great, Jonathan. Time goes by. Time goes fast. Yes, it does, man. He said, JT said, gotta cherish every moment, man. He said he gotta go read a book now. I guess it's bedtime.
That's what's up, man.
He said he'd be back home.
Do you, man? That's
Anthony Allen. This is the comment. He said, what do y'all think about a 9-game SEC schedule? Well, Anthony. That's right, Anthony. You kind of you wasn't here earlier in the year. Okay, all right. This is my adjustment of what the SEC should go to. I think the SEC should go to 11 game, go to 11 conference games.
Boy, stop.
The fact that he had that ready like a business card had very impressive.
Yeah, come on, man.
I think we should go to 11 conference games.
Marcus, he was just like, let me figure out something to make DC scream.
You done seen this already.
I know that. I know. You pulled it back up. 11 conference games?
Yeah, man.
Come on, Nick.
Conference games, man.
Come on, Nick. That ain't gonna happen, man. Come on.
I know it ain't, but we should.
Come on, Nick.
If the SEC say they the best,
Nick, you gonna have everybody.
Be the best.
You gonna have everybody with 8 wins, bro.
If the SEC say they the best,
you gonna have the whole SEC out with no playoff spots.
You won't have everything. Everybody won't have 8 wins. 11 is an odd number, so there won't be 8 wins. So here's the thing. That, and then you break everybody down into divisions. There go your divisions right there, and they are. And everybody in each division plays each other twice, and then you play one person from the other divisions one time. So Auburn would play Georgia twice, they would play South Carolina twice, they would play Florida twice. That's 2, 4, 6 games, and then you go in and then you go in and you play one team from the north, one team from the south, one team from the west. That's what you would do. That's how you would do it. And then you switch the teams that you play every other year. Every year you can switch those teams that are outside of your conference. Just saying, man. Just saying. It's a wild thing. We in the wild west of college football right now. Nobody knows what to do.
11 games, though.
11 games, bro. Let's make it.
You just skipped 10. You just skipped 9 and 10. You skipped 9 and 10. We're like, let's do 11.
Let's do it.
Bro, it wouldn't nothing be left by the time the playoffs came, bro.
That
would be the Royal Rumble.
Let's be the best.
That would be the Royal Rumble, bro. When no teams have
nothing.
It'd
just be like that COVID season. Everybody banged up.
Yeah.
The SEC is the best. Let's be the best then.
Man, we wouldn't make it. We wouldn't make it to the second round of the playoffs with this.
We'll do it big then. In the words of James. Let's do it, man. Yeah. Hallbone says, man, Trooper Taylor, he's still doing the towel. I'm pretty sure he is. He's just doing it with Texas A&M colors on now. He said we're gonna be running a 10 personnel offense to run them dizzy. I want to know, are we going to run 5 wide so they can also rush 4? I think Coach Free said that's something that we're gonna do with this offense.
We can, man.
I mean, because you got all that talent, you got to. Imagine running out 5 wide when they go 4 on the line.
But yeah, and Nick, that's what I was telling you Sunday when we was talking about that on Have You Heard, man, is that Auburn can run 5 wide and they can run the 5 wide to kind of like make up for the tight end position. That was my point. But go ahead.
Yeah, no, I feel what you're saying. All right, I feel what you're saying. C Hall, what up, my guy? C Hall, he said, War Eagle fam. Hello, gentlemen, late with the missus. Shout out to you and the missus, C Hall. Appreciate you so much, my guy, for rocking with you. Everybody saying what's up to C Hall. Lil Huggy said, what's up? What up, Lil Huggy? How you feeling, man?
What's up, Lil Huggy?
Lil Huggy sipping on Lil Huggies.
What's up, C Hall?
Nah, cuz AU ain't as unbearable as OU fans. Yeah. If y'all went in here yesterday, shout out to Urban Ninja. Him and Huggy and Auburn dad had a little back and forth in the chat. He was a Oklahoma fan. He was saying Boomer Sooner. So shout out to him, man. Yeah, I think our O-line gonna hear so much drama about pass linemen till they show out. I think they're gonna push the pressure and get off. Man, I think Auburn's offensive line got a chance to be one of the best in the SEC. Rightfully, bro, old buddy, the OU fan last night was giving old Huggy the itis. I'm trying to tell y'all about that, man. I'm trying to tell y'all about that. Hugh said 8 was enough, but no double buys. Yeah. He just
8 enough, bro. 8 enough.
He don't want that. He don't want that smoke, man. 8 is not enough.
8 is
it
enough,
need to be
bro.
9 or 11.
8 is enough,
9
man.
or 11 is what it needs to be.
8 is enough, man. 8 is enough. Dog.
It need to be 9 or 11.
Bro, you saw the carnage this year with 8 games. We got 3 teams sitting outside with 9 wins.
And
you know what I'm saying? Sitting outside the playoff with 9 wins with 8. So imagine if we played 11 games, bro. You wouldn't have you would have so many losses in the SEC. It would be crazy, man. It would be crazy.
If you want to be the NFL of college football, then do what the NFL do. They play in their division. They play each division opponent 2 times, and then they play outside their divisions. And guess what? It's a long season too. And guess what? They be broken up and they be hurt as well. But if you gonna be the big dog, then be the big dog.
But with the NFL though, they are playing only NFL. See, the SEC, after you play that 11-game schedule, you got to go play the Big Ten. You see what I'm saying? Now, if it was just what I'm saying is, if it was just the SEC playing a SEC schedule, and then they have an SEC championship, and then they have a SEC national championship, and it's just those SEC teams, I wouldn't have a problem with doing that. Wouldn't have a problem at all. My thing is like playing 11 games and then trying to traverse going through the playoffs, playing the Big Ten with those. They got some monsters in the Big Ten too. So you got to play 11 games and go deal with Ohio State.
So basically, you're saying the Eagles will have to play the Commanders, have to play the Cowboys, and have to play, I think, the Giants in their division twice, and then they have to play other teams in the NFC. But then when they get to the playoffs, they're gonna have to go. They play other teams in the AFC as well. Then when they get to the playoffs, they got to play everybody again in the NFC, and then play the winner of the AFC Championship.
Right, but it's the same league though. What I'm saying is it's the same league. What I'm saying, right? No, it's not because the Big Ten is not playing. They're not playing 11. They're not playing 11, so they're gonna have it easier. You feel what I'm saying? The pack, not the pack. It ain't no back pack, but the Big 12. They're going to be playing at 9, maybe 9 games. They're not going to be playing 11. So what I'm saying is the wear down factor in the SEC is going to be worse. If it was just the SEC, or if everybody was playing 11 games, I'd be like, okay. But my point is, once you make it out of this Royal Rumble, which is the SEC, man, you ain't gonna have nothing left in the playoffs.
You know,
if you play 11 games.
The Big 10 and the Big 12 play 9 conference games, right?
Right, but we'll be playing 11 though.
We still the only conference that play 8, so basically it's easier for us. But
I'm okay with that.
But here go the argument that people gonna make.
No, bro, it's more depth.
And
It is, man.
Okay. Right.
It is, bro.
All right.
We did it, Nick. We did the comparison when they had the Pac-12, and we can do it. We can do it with the Big 10, man. Go team for team. Go team for team, top to bottom, bro. It's like the top of.
I just feel like the Big 10 top heavy, bro.
Yeah, the top of the Big 10. Yeah,
the SEC is too.
Oh man, the top of the Big 10. The top of the Big 10 is comparable.
Ohio State, Michigan, Penn State,
and who's been
Oregon.
Who's been the top of the SEC for the past 10 years? Alabama and Georgia.
But then you add Texas, bro, into that. Ole Miss, you got to think. You got to think.
Penn State.
Okay, you got Ole Miss, bro. You got South Carolina just won 9 games. You got Missouri won 9 games.
South Carolina just got in the chat. They
what I'm saying though, but what I'm saying is relevant. It's relevant. Then you got LSU, bro. What I'm saying.
If we put it
we'll do that. We'll put them side by side. Let's do that. Put them side by side. Top to bottom, bro. See,
I just say the drop after Oregon, the drop off is heavy in the big.
It's heavy, bro. After you go Ohio State, Penn State, Michigan, and Oregon, bro, that thing drop off, bro.
We got a debate going on. We got a debate going on. Let me pull it up. Big 10 2024 rankings. Let's pull it up. This is a good one. Ladies and gentlemen. This is a good one. I like it.
Yeah,
I like it. Let's do it. And then let me put up the SEC. All right, SEC 2024 rankings.
And while you're doing that, what I'm saying is with the SEC, the power of the SEC, bro, is when you get to like 6 and 7 on down, bro. Vanderbilt will put in work on you, dog. With Pavia them, Vanderbilt. Think about this, man. Just think about this fact for a second. Vanderbilt swept the state of Alabama, bro. They beat Auburn and Alabama.
Okay, all right. That was a one-off year. Let's put like
it doesn't matter what I'm telling you. I'm just saying the SEC top to bottom, bro. It's the 6. It's what I'm saying. It's the 6 to the bottom, bro. That's what makes the SEC unbearable. Florida, bro. Nobody didn't want to see Florida at the end of nobody wanted to see Florida last year, bro.
But everybody saw them at the beginning of the season. They saw him at the beginning of the season.
No, but what I'm saying, though, you got to count the whole season, though. You got to count the whole season. You got to count the whole season, dog.
I understand us as SEC fans. And we had this conversation.
No SEC fans.
I had this conversation. We had this conversation. I said, yes, the SEC is still the best conference. But if you're looking at recency bias, guess what? The Big Ten has won the last 2 national championships.
Yeah, but that's what like Marcus said, bro. But look, okay, recency bias though, but that's two teams. That's 2 teams. We're talking about
hold up. To your point. Besides LSU, since 2015, don't do that. Don't do that. Have won.
Don't do that.
You're doing it.
Don't do that. Don't start. No. Don't start at 2015, bro.
Okay,
start when. Yeah, start when the. Watch this. Start when the run began.
Okay, so 20.
So the run. Hold up.
2009.
The run began with Tennessee when the BCS and all that. Let me watch this. No. Just hear me out. Just hear me out. Hear me out on this one.
Okay.
When we talk about national championships and conferences and being unbalanced, think about this. In the Big Ten, it's only been Ohio State and Michigan that have won national championships in the last 15, 20 years, right? So am I correct? Hold up. If we
going back that far,
hold up. I'm 1990. I'm just saying the Big Ten and the SEC. When we talk about conferences top to bottom, you've had Tennessee, you had Auburn, you've had LSU, you've had Georgia, you've had Alabama, you had all these teams win national championships, bro. It's like that's what I mean with the SEC, bro. When in that national championship run, bro, we ran deep. It wasn't just Alabama and Georgia winning.
Okay. All right, here we go. So that's since 1990.
And you got to think Auburn went to 2 of them.
Let's start at 1990. Okay, let's start at 1990. All right, 1990, Colorado and Georgia Tech. I think that was the Big 8 at the time, and Georgia Tech was in the ACC or whatever that was. That they won. 91.
Okay.
Washington and Miami.
Okay.
They shared the national championship. 92, Alabama. 93, Florida State. 94, Nebraska. 95, Nebraska. 96, Florida. 97.
I'm talking about true national championships. True national championships between I'm talking Big Ten, SEC right now.
No, these are the teams. I'm naming all the teams out since 1990.
I'm saying since the BCS. What year did the BCS begin?
1998. I'm about to get to it.
That's what I'm talking. That's what I'm talking about. From 98, where we had true number 1s and number 2s playing. Before that, dude, they was picking teams out of this team won a bowl game.
Championship games though.
Yeah, but it wasn't a true national championship game because you would have number 1 in a bowl game playing somebody and number 2 over here playing in a bowl game against somebody. It wasn't what I'm saying. You didn't have the top teams meeting for a championship. That's why I say the BCS, because that was a true national championship.
Okay,
proceed.
Let's start at the BCS. Let's start at the BCS then. And you want to use the BCS? Let's start at the BCS when they start saying the SEC was the best conference. Okay,
yeah, let's go. Let's start
98 Tennessee, 99 Florida State, 2000 Oklahoma, 2001 Miami, 2002 Ohio State, 2003 USC shared it with LSU, 2004 South Carolina, 2005 Texas,
South Carolina.
USC, my bad.
USC. Yeah,
2006 Florida, 2007 LSU, 2008 Florida, 09 Alabama, 2010 Auburn, 2011 Alabama, 2012 Alabama, 2013 Florida State, 14 Ohio State, 15 Alabama, 16 Clemson, 17 Alabama, 18 Clemson, 19 LSU, 20 Alabama, 21 and 22 Georgia, Michigan was 23, and Ohio State this past season.
Right.
So when you look at that, if you want to go back that far, you make a point. But we talking about recency. I said recency.
I agree with that. But what I'm saying, but what me and Marcus is saying though is top to bottom in this conference, man. The Big Ten is top heavy. It's in the top.
Not.
No, they're. What I'm saying is, it's not a bigger drop off after like the first four or five teams in the Big Ten. The drop off is not as dramatic in the SEC, bro. It's not as dramatic. That's what I'm saying. If you look at 6 through the bottom of the conference, man, can't no other conference deal with that type of competitiveness. It's not there.
So okay, all right, here we go. These are the rankings. These are the rankings from the Big Ten last year. Oregon, 13-1 overall, 9-0 in the conference. Indiana, 11-2 overall, 8-1 in the conference. Penn State, 13-3 overall, 8-1 in the conference. Ohio State, 14-2 overall, 7-2 in the conference. Illinois, 10-3 overall, 6-3 in the conference. Iowa, 8-5. Michigan, 8-5. Minnesota, 8-5. All of them 5-4 in the conference. Iowa was 6-3. USC 7-6. Rutgers 7-6. Both 4-5 in the conference. Washington 6-7. 4-5 in the conference. Nebraska 7-6. 3-6 in the conference. Michigan State, UCLA, Wisconsin, all 5-7. Northwestern Maryland, both 4-8. Purdue 1-11. All right, that's the Big Ten. Here's the SEC. Tell me these do not sound. Tell me that these do not sound almost alike. Georgia 11-3, Tennessee 10-3, Missouri 10-3, Ole Miss 10-3, Alabama 9-4, LSU 9-4, South Carolina 9-4.
That's not like a high. That's not like a. That's not
start right there, bro. Look how compact. Look how compact all them teams are at the top of the conference, bro. Look how compact that is.
Look how compact the Big Ten.
Bro, not like that though, Dick.
13-3, 14-2, 10-3. They had 5 teams that won 10 or more games.
But then you dropped off and it was just a bunch of 8-win teams, bro.
Oh my. Okay. All right.
Go ahead. All right. Let's go back. You said.
Go ahead. Do finish.
I guess 8-9 win teams. I know 8 wins is just a bad thing. That's
no. Go ahead. No. Go ahead with your point. I did. No. Finish the Auburn thing. I'm sorry for this. Well, you was naming the Auburn records. Do the Auburn records.
That was the SEC records.
I mean, I'm saying Auburn SEC records. Do the SEC records.
Because everywhere after that, it was the exact same records as the not the exact, but
keep going though. I'm saying do the whole.
Okay.
Do what was the whole thing.
So SEC, Texas A&M 8-5, Florida 8-5, Arkansas 7-6, Vanderbilt 7-6, Oklahoma 6-7, Auburn 5-7, Kentucky 4-8, Mississippi State 2-10. What's the difference? What's the difference? Please tell me what's the difference.
You just read the difference, man.
No, I didn't, because I'm sitting here looking at the Big Ten.
I heard a difference.
I'm sitting here looking at a Big Ten team, a Big Ten conference that had 5 10 plus win teams. That's what I'm sitting at. And I'm sitting here looking at an SEC. I'm sitting here looking at an SEC ranked team, SEC team that had. Excuse me. Hold on. Wait. My bad. SEC had 5 10 plus wins. SEC had 5 teams that won 10 plus wins. What's the difference? I'm trying to understand the difference. And then
I think
if you look at the teams that drop off right behind them, 9-4, 8-5. You go to the Big Ten, 8-5.
That's what I'm saying.
Where's the difference? One game? So one game is
that's a lot of one games though. That's a lot. You name just like 4 or 5 teams just with one better game record. Okay. So that I mean, bro, you just read the record.
Yeah, and they all similar to each other. There's no big drop off. That's the point that y'all making, that there's this big drop off between them, and it's not. It's not.
But what you're looking at interconference play though.
There is a drop off because it's not.
You're looking at interconference play though. You look at what you're looking at. What I'm saying is.
That's an objective point. That's objective to the person that the conference is better or worse. And I've sat here and made this. I've sat here and made this argument that yes, back then before the transfer portal, the SEC was better because their two deeps, their second teams were just as good as the first teams. But these second team guys ain't in the SEC no more. They playing for Big 10 schools. They playing for Big 12 schools. And if you go back and look at the 2015s and the 2017s, I would agree with you. There is a major drop-off from the top teams and the teams at that time. But you looking at the record, and I'm sitting there looking at these records look similar to each other. So where's the difference? So the argument of the Big 10 is a least tough conference in the SEC is objective. Where is the subjectivity to that? Because guess what? The past 2 years, they've won the national championship. And guess what? They are bound to do it again this year. I'm just being real. Where's that's an objective argument.
Yeah, but
the Big 10 is worse than the SEC.
Yeah, but when you look at conferences, man, if you just go by conference records and say 10-2, 9-4, 9-4, all that stuff, that doesn't make it equal, because if you take a 9-win, watch this, if you take a 9-win Colorado team and you put that,
that's the Big 12.
I know that, but the point I'm making is, bro, it's relative. You can't just take the numbers of wins in a conference and put them beside and say this team was 10-2, 10-2, 9-5, 9-5. It depends on what conference you in, because the Big 12 had numbers like that too. You follow what I'm saying? Meaning Colorado won 9 games, but if you put them against the 9-win teams in the SEC, bro, they'll get blew out the stadium.
Okay.
You feel what I'm saying? So it's relative to what conference you in. You can't just put the numbers and say, okay, in Division 2, they were 10-2, 10-2, 10-2, 9-5, 9. So they're comparable. You can't just put the numbers. What conference they are in and the competition they play within the conference is relative.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying?
That's objective too. That's an objective argument. That's really an objective argument.
No, man.
It is an objective argument.
No, look at the
okay.
Look at the NFL. Look at the NFL, and they said that the SEC has had the most players drafted this cycle in history. Okay. So that tells you where the most of the NFL players are. You feel what I'm saying? So it's not subjective. It's not subjective or anything like that, bro. We got metrics to prove it. We got metrics to prove it, man. We got metrics to prove it.
Look at this. So you saying in the NFL. All right, let's look at it. Cam Ward played in the ACC. Travis Hunter played in the Big 12. Abdul Carter played in the Big 10. Will Campbell played, I think he played in the Big 10. Mason Graham played not in the SEC. Ashton Jency played in the Group of 5. The D tackle, I can't remember what school he's from. He didn't play in the SEC. Terry McMillan, he didn't play in the SEC. Kelvin Banks was the first SEC player drafted at number 9.
Okay, but overall, who got the most players in the NFL draft? The SEC.
In the first round.
But you can't stop right there though.
In the first round,
but you can't stop at the first. You can't go to number 10 and just stop.
No, guess what the number was,
man.
No, guess what the number was,
Come on, man.
The Big 10 had 13 people taken in the first round as well, compared to the SEC having 15. Where's the difference? Those numbers are close. That's not a 2 people is not a big difference. You can't just
stop at the first round. It's more rounds in the draft than the first round. So you saying that second round has no value, third round has no value, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, none of them other rounds have value. Oh wait, bro, let's look
at it.
Bro, come on, the SEC had the most players taken in the NFL draft, man. We have a metric.
Let's look at okay. All right, so the 2025 draft. All right. Let's look at it. Y'all talk, because I'm gonna pull this up because I want to prove a point.
What point, man? Come on, man.
2025.
Come on, man. I don't know what point you tried to prove, man.
I don't either.
What'd you say, Marcus?
I don't either at this point. I'm just sitting here looking at the records.
Yeah.
I'm just going through the records.
Okay. All right. Here we go. In the 2025 draft. Okay. SEC, 78 players taken in the draft. Big Ten, 72. Where's the difference?
What do you mean? What's the difference? They got more players in the draft. I'm saying, Nick,
relative numbers, that's the same.
Oh, now we're talking relative numbers.
Man,
okay.
That's what I've been saying the whole time.
And that's all he doing. That's all he doing the whole time. Because if you look at it, I just went through the numbers.
That's what we do all the time. We look at what's relative to what's name.
The Big Ten has 3 8-5 teams. We have 2 8-5 teams. We have 3 9-4 teams. Like we were saying earlier, the drop off.
What drop off? What's the drop off? What's the difference between an 8-5 team and a 9-4 team? One game. If you look at
a playoff spot is the
difference. Exactly.
Playoff spot is
exactly.
Okay.
Ask Alabama and South Carolina.
How many SEC 9-win teams went to the playoffs?
None. Exactly. That's what we're saying. One game is a big difference.
Exactly. So you can't sit here and tell me the drop off is that big. You can't.
But that's what Mark is saying though. It's a big difference because they didn't make the playoffs with that one loss.
Okay. All right.
Nick, it's just opinionated. It's just opinionated, man. And this is an opinion. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. This whole narrative that the SEC that this SEC is so much better. It's an objective argument. It's an argument that you use to sell stuff. And I'm sitting here. Yes, it is. It's an objective to sell stuff, to sell TV time, because that's where most of the people in the country live in the South. They're gonna watch the games. I'm just being real. I'm looking at this right here. Tennessee, Texas. Who was in this thing? Tennessee, Texas, Georgia. Those were the 3 teams from the SEC that made it. This is without the four teams. Ohio State, Oregon, Penn State were the 3. Indiana. That's 4 teams that made it to the college football playoff. So if we talking numbers, then guess what? The Big Ten was better. If we talking numbers this past season. We got to stop having.
You said 4 teams made the college football playoffs in the Big Ten, correct?
Yeah, 4 teams made it in the college football playoffs. Three in the SEC. What's the difference there? Nothing. Just one team. Relatively, they're the 2 teams. They're 2 conferences that put the most teams in the college football playoff. There's no difference. Now, if you sit here and have that conversation, people gonna be like, "Oh, it's the same. It's the same." But when I sit here and make the conversation of what's the difference between us having 9-4 teams and them having 8-5 teams, what's the difference? They're gonna be like, "There's a big difference." So there's a big difference from the SEC only putting 3 teams in the college football playoffs and the Big Ten putting 4. Oh, that's a big difference then. So when you make the argument, you got to keep the argument consistent.
Yeah, but and I agree with you on this point. If you going with the teams that made the playoff field, who were the better teams, you have to go Big Ten. You see what I'm saying? But we're talking about overall conference. And I agree with you, Nick. If you say out of the SEC and the Big Ten, the teams that made the playoff field, who had the better teams, you got to go with the Big Ten. It's tangible and proof. You feel what I'm saying? But saying overall, I can't ride with you, bro.
And Penn State could have made it because Penn State was a 13-win team. So if that was the case, with you. If Penn State, if the rule wasn't in about having the highest ranked group of 5, highest ranked conference champion in, Clemson wouldn't have been in if Penn State would have had that spot. They would have had 5 teams in. So I'm just saying, like,
Penn State was in.
My bad, not Penn State. I mean,
Illinois.
Illinois is what I'm talking about. That's what.
So you think Alabama would have got in? They was the first team out.
Record.
No, Alabama was the first team out, so they would have got in.
Yeah, but Illinois had a better record. If you go,
it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. No, I'm saying I'm looking at the rankings. I'm saying by the rankings that we all saw with our eyes, Alabama would have. If Clemson wouldn't have got in, Alabama would have been in. It would have been Illinois by the rankings.
I understand that. I get what you're saying. But if you ranking them just based off of what their records are, Illinois would have been that team. So that's all I'm saying. But you looking at but because the conversation that we having now about the SEC being better, now you throw Alabama in there because they are a 9-win team compared to a 10-win team. And so when the argument I'm making right here it matters directly to that. What's the difference between that 9-win team and that 10-win team that was in the same that's in two conferences considered to be the two best conferences in college football?
Man, it's a
What's
difference.
the difference?
It's like I said before, it's a difference in a 9-win team in the Big 12 and a 9-win team in the SEC. It's a difference between an 8-win team in the SEC and an 8-win team in the Big 10. And I say this, and it's no slight to the Big 10, bro, because the top 4 or 5 teams in the Big 10 will put in work on the SEC on any given Saturday. I'm not delusional like that. Ohio State will put in grown man work, bro. Michigan beat Alabama. You feel what I'm saying? In the bowl game. So I'm not, them dudes will put in work. They ain't no joke. I'm just saying, bro, after that, and I think Mark is saying the same thing, bro, after them like first 4 or 5 teams, it's a dramatic drop off.
So Rutgers Rutgers wouldn't beat Florida.
No, man.
Really?
Bro, Florida do grown man. Florida put boots to Rutgers' neck, bro.
Nebraska
Florida put boots to their neck.
Nebraska wouldn't beat Vanderbilt.
No.
Wow.
No, man.
Okay.
No, man.
I'm just saying. Okay.
No, Nebraska wouldn't beat Vanderbilt, man.
All right. I'm just okay. I feel as if
they wouldn't beat South Carolina. They wouldn't beat Missouri.
Wow.
They wouldn't beat Florida. I say Auburn to beat Nebraska. With a 5-7 record.
Because Auburn's roster is better than Nebraska. Now Nebraska may have the better quarterback when he gets Dylan Raiola may be a better quarterback down the road. I mean, I think Dylan Raiola may take a step this year and things stuff like that. But yeah, they have a better roster. I sit here and say that too. Yeah, Auburn will beat Nebraska.
Right, that's what I'm saying, man. It's like
Auburn, we're looking at if you want to go that way, you're looking at rosters right now. Yes, definitely. Last year, I don't know who the quarterback was at Auburn. I don't know. That's a toss up. That would have been a toss up to me.
Right, but what was Nebraska's record? Were they
7-6?
Right, and that Auburn is a 5-7 team, and you're saying you're kind of doing that as a pick-me game with a 7-6 Big 10 team and a 5-7.
What I'm saying is I'm not sure Nebraska. I'm not saying Auburn would have been in that game. That's what I'm saying.
You saying Nebraska would
beat Auburn last year? Yes, that's what I'm saying.
Okay.
Yeah,
I mean, yeah, that's subjective. I can't argue with you.
Just like the argument that
you 100% sure on that.
I'm about 85% sure. Yeah.
What is it? 85?
Yeah, that's still a relative bit.
Okay,
That's still a bit. That's a win.
Okay, but what I'm saying though, Nick, is you not even 100% sure that a 5-7 SEC. I'm just saying, bro, you not even 100% sure that a 5-7 team would beat 7-6 Big 10 teams. That's what I'm saying, bro. It shouldn't even be a question if I say do a 5-7 team that's in the Big 10 and a 7-6 team, whatever. It shouldn't be a question.
Were you 100% sure Auburn was going to beat New Mexico State?
New Mexico State?
Yes.
When they play, you talking about with
yes, that year in 23.
No, I was like,
okay then. My point,
no. But I wasn't saying. I was never saying they were. I was never saying that they were. That I was never saying that Auburn would definitely beat them either because they had Jerry Gill. We done rehearsed this Jerry Gill thing
Nebraska
forever.
has Matt Rule.
And
who would? We're not going
to I'm saying.
Oh wow.
Okay. We're saying Jerry Kill because he had history of beating you for.
All right, Mark.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
I'm just saying like this. I don't get it. I don't get it. I'm trying to understand the argument. The argument that I'm making is relative. It's a relative argument and it's subjective. That's really what it is. Like I mean, we can't. I mean, like, and your opinion is your opinion. Everybody else's opinion is everybody else's opinion, and things and stuff like that. I'm just saying, it's interesting.
It's a debate you probably won't ever figure out unless you take one through whatever and then they just play each other.
Yeah, so it's King Rich, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, last year we talking about last year. Dylan Raiola was better than Payne Thorne. That's what I said. Yeah, that's why I said they would have beat Auburn. Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right, man. Let's get up out of here, man. God, it was great. It was a great conversation. DC, tell them where they can find you at, my guy.
Man, you can find if you want to hear this type of stuff all the time at Auburn Addicts TV, man, on YouTube, man. Me and Nick on Sunday doing the same thing on Auburn News that they have you heard. Me and Tite on here doing, Doing it on Wednesday for Iron Bowl debate at 6 p.m., man. So y'all check us out, Auburn Addicts TV at Auburn _ Addicts on all the rest of the platform. But
yes, sir.
Addicts TV on YouTube, man. Enjoyed it. Appreciate y'all having me, man.
Yeah,
man. I enjoyed this.
Make sure y'all go out there and follow the Avengers. I always got to say this was coined by Travell, the king of the comments.
Yeah.
Follow the Avengers of YouTube, man. At Sharpshooters Podcast. Go follow Dylan and Blake over at the Uptempo Podcast. Go follow Tight Sports, Alabama Football Megacast over there. And of course, follow at Auburn Tez at its SEC season as well, man. And before you get out of here, man, follow us on Facebook at the Water Cooler Talk Podcast, man. Follow us on Instagram and TikTok at the Water Cooler Talk. On Twitter at CoolersPod23. And of course, subscribe, like, share, hit the notification bell button here on YouTube, so you know when we post more videos and go live, man. We're gonna keep this thing going about this Auburn football schedule breakdown. And on Monday, we coming back home. First SEC home game. We're gonna be breaking down Georgia. It's gonna be an interesting game, man. So let's see what's going on with it, man. Auburn, Huggy Beer said, man, great show, fellas. Nah, man. Y'all, man, this is a great show. Great show. Y'all make the show great. We appreciate y'all, man. All right, man. We're gonna get up out of here. As always, man, y'all have a good one. Better yet, y'all have a great one. Y'all be blessed. Make sure y'all get the man upstairs above his, because he deserves it all. Make sure you give him all the praise and the glory, man. We'll be back Monday, 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central, back around the water cooler. Until then, it is one love. And guess what? We out this mug.
Boys and girls of all ages, you're tuned into the Water Cooler Talk Podcast, the biggest podcast in the world. Yeah.
Thanks for checking out this episode of Water Cooler Talks with your hosts, Nick Frazier and Marcus Fitzpatrick. Make sure you like and subscribe on your favorite podcast platform so that you never miss an episode.